Moana is from the South Island of New Zealand.
I haven't always been a hunter.
And you could call her a new breed of hunter. A young female who didn't grow up in a hunting family, but now absolutely loves it.
I was a vet nurse, and I loved that, and I loved working with animals and helping animals. It was very, very different coming from a vet nursing background and then getting into hunting. That real shift from saving animals' lives every day in the clinic and looking after animals and treating animals, to then thinking about actually taking a life of an animal and what that meant for me morally and ethically. Yeah, it was a big shift. It was a big shift. And at the start, I was a little bit kind of unsure about that. I went hunting a few times and just observed. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to see what hunting was about and if it was the kind of bloodthirsty sport that some people like to think it is or like to portray it as. And I pretty quickly realised that actually it wasn't. Hunters do actually have pretty stringent moral code most of the time, and over time I found that okay. And actually the thing that really changed my mind was harvesting meat. I went hunting a few times and observed, and then we harvested some animals, and then actually when it came down to cooking that meat and eating it, and I guess in my mind the completing the circle of life and death and then eating these animals made a lot of sense to me. And yeah, that's kind of how I overcame that, and yeah, really started to enjoy hunting and really starting to enjoy knowing where my meat came from, and yeah, being able to provide for myself and friends and family. I hunt for many different reasons. A main one is obviously harvesting my own meat, and yeah, and probably the second biggest reason is actually just being outdoors. I really enjoy being out in the mountains and appreciating the plant life and the bird life. Yeah, appreciating the scenery. I feel like I could be tramping. I could just be walking up that same track without a rifle, and you know, I could just get to the top and look at how many Ks I did and what time and turn around and go right back down. But yeah, hunting actually gives you the opportunity to stop and look around and take notice. You know, you sit down and you're glassing and you're looking at other animals and you're looking at the terrain, and you actually sit there and you really soak it in and appreciate what's around you and where you are. And I feel like there's a lot more purpose in hunting than just tramping. You know, it's not just Ks in time and, you know, ticking boxes. Probably one of the biggest stereotypes that I see about women in hunting, especially in New Zealand, is that we, you know, are just the tag-along weekend girlfriend hunters, whereas that's not actually entirely true. Many of us start off that way. I started off that way. But yeah, there are actually a lot of really capable, competent women hunters out there who do go hunting on their own and can do it completely on their own, and they go and do solo alpine multi-day hunts. And yeah, I guess that perception that, you know, we might not be able to do it all ourselves, well, we can, and we do, and I think that's really awesome, and that's something that I'd really like to grow. Conservation is a really big driver for me. It's a really big reason why I get out into the outdoors. I think it's also a really important and underrated part of hunting. You know, there's a lot of chat at the moment about hunting and conservation in New Zealand, and I think historically they have been at odds. But yeah, I think I'm really hopeful that we can find a middle ground there. And for me personally, I've worked in the conservation field for probably the better part of a decade now, and I love our natural environment. I love our Indigenous biodiversity. It's really important to me that we protect and enhance that. And I've kind of travelled a lot around the country, working in the backcountry, and I've seen some amazing places, and it would be a shame to see some of those areas decline and some of our species decline. So I think as hunters we've got a real role to play in enhancing the biodiversity in those areas and managing our game animals so that they're not in conflict with our biodiversity, our Indigenous biodiversity. My name is Moana and I'm a hunter and a conservationist. Yeah, I think the hunters... Oh, there. Sorry. Yeah.
You're good.